Hey, how's it going, guys? Figured I'd just keep trying out this live format, so I think Tuesdays, if they cooperate, I'm going to try at least go Tuesday live once a week, so we'll see how this works, I guess. Hopefully, everything goes well with the transfer this week. I think last week I tried the wizard video, and for some reason it was mirrored. I was going to take it down, but I actually got some nice comments on it, so I just kind of left it up hanging out. But today I decided, like, why not talk about Batman? And it looks like it's mirrored again, so I apologize about that. So hopefully, don't know what to do about that, so I guess I'll just keep going. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today, though, is I read Barrier finally, and wow, is this good. So basically, if you guys haven't seen or heard about this book, the reason I'm holding the comics like this is actually the way the comic reads. It's from Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin, so just an example of a panel there, and how that works out. But anyway, this is about a lady who lives in Texas. She lives on the Mexican border, and a guy who's trying to get from the Mexican border to the American border. And as they meet up eventually, they get abducted by aliens. And then the reason it's called Barrier is there's a language barrier between the two. Hey, what's up, boy who had seven? So basically, once they're on the alien spaceship, they're trying to communicate with each other, figure out what's going on, and all that good stuff. And of course, that language barrier is hindering them quite a bit. And then the extra twist later is there's also a third barrier where the aliens talk in colors. It's very interesting to see how all that turns out. Inevitably, they'll kind of have like a throwaway mind melt, more or less. And then that way you get to see Oscar, the Mexican guy, or I think he's not from Mexico. I apologize. I can't think of where he's from right now, but he had to flee through Mexico, but nonetheless, he speaks Spanish. Then he gets language swapped into English, and then you find out his tragic backstory and why he's trying to get out of South America, basically. There's a nice little twist at the very end of all of this that, kind of throws up the extra barrier at the end. So definitely check this out. The last note I'll have on this, because I know you guys came to talk about Batman, basically, since that's the title of the video. But the last note I have about this, the true star of this book is Marcos Martin. His art knocks it out of the park. I love Brian K. Vaughan as much as anyone else. But I just love the framing, the panels, and all the work he does in this book. And he actually translated the Brian K. Vaughan dialogue, too. So actually, I think Brian K. Vaughan actually, inside the books, gave Marcos Martin the top credit instead of himself. So check this out. I kept hearing about it on Comic Vantage's video, so I was going to wait for a hardcover or trade, but I decided, hey, what's up, comic boys? I decided just to go ahead and get them since I had, like, only 2 more to go in the run. I really wanted to read it today. So there's that. What inspired me to talk about Batman today is I actually finished reading this run as well, Batman White Knight. So very happy to finally finish this run. I've kept saying in some of my other videos that this has been like one of my top, probably my favorite current book that's been going on in Marvel or DC. So I've been drifting toward a lot of independent stuff for whatever reason lately, so I just decided, like, why not get this, and I'm glad I did, because this is definitely one of the top reads out there today. It's an 8-issue mini, maxi series, whatever you want to call it. But actually issue 8 just came out a few weeks ago, so I'm a little bit late getting it read. But the premise of it is, more or less, the Joker gets like a miracle drug that makes him into Jack Napier. I wouldn't say a normal man because he's still an extraordinary person. Oh yeah, absolutely. White Knight is awesome. But, once he's Jack Napier, his goal at that point is to try to save Gotham by outing Batman. Hey, what's up, Metarog? So it's kind of interesting to see Batman and Jack Napier go at it, because Jack Napier is slowly getting everybody to his side over the course of the miniseries. Hey, what's up, Tat? How's it going? So that involves Nightwing, Barbara Gordon, Detective Gordon. Everybody's slowly kind of like, yeah, Batman has been pretty rough lately, so... And there's also 2 Harleys for some reason as the most head-scratching part, but they actually make it work pretty well in the book. There's basically a good Harley and a bad Harley. Like, one is definitely driving Jack Napier slash Joker into staying Jack Napier. And the other one is like, I'm going to destroy this city if the Joker doesn't come back. And then it kind of just goes from there. So on top of that, you have the conflict with Batman, and then Batman has a conflict with all of Gotham City. So there's a lot going on in these 8 issues. So I was kind of hoping they'd stick the landing at the end, and in my opinion, they did. So there's probably going to be a hardcover trade this out soon. Definitely pick that up if you missed out on these individual issues, because the first, I think issue 1 goes for a little bit, but unfortunately I don't have the first printing of issue 3, but this is the one that, like, the first printing of this cover here goes for quite a bit online. So definitely, if you can find this, find it. If not, just wait for a hardcover trade. Definitely worth the read. Like I said, my favorite run, well, it's not going now, I guess, is officially, but my favorite current read out there today. Check it out. I guess someone told me they're going to make an animated movie with the cast of the animated series, so that'd be pretty cool, I guess. Hopefully. Yeah, I guess I don't know how to fix the mirroring. I'm sorry about that, Metarog. So hopefully I can get that fixed by the time I upload this, since I'm about to show like 2 or 3 short boxes of books, all in mirror form. So, like I said, I'm just kind of here to chat with you guys, see what's up, and show some books along the way. So I apologize for the mirroring. I don't know why my phone has all of a sudden, when I go into live mode, started to do this. Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the heck out of it myself, but I'm just going to keep showing books and hope for the best. So this is my first time pulling stuff out of short boxes and doing a video at the same time. Yeah, as long as it's not upside down. I've had that problem before too, Tat. Yeah, this is the Earth 2, my man cave in Earth 2, I guess. So there's a awful joke for you. So, like I said, I want to show my Batman collection. So I'm just, these are kind of randomized in terms of boxes and stuff, but we're just here for the fun of Batman and showing the books. I guess I'll probably just show the books and talk about why I like Batman, basically. And if I see a good read or something, I'll say like, hey, read this, please. So first one, I actually was wanting to get the hardcover of this, Dark Knight 3. I've heard too much feedback about this. I think everyone got the variant covers and the first one a lot, and then no one I know really finished it. I never saw it on any haul videos. So if you guys recommend this, I guess let me know. Yeah, read my book, please. So yeah, if this is actually good, let me know, because I kind of at least want to get a trade of it, because I really, well, if you guys look, there's the Dark Knight Returns up there. So obviously I like that because it's on my wall. But then Dark Knight 2 was horrible. I could not get into that book. I bought them at $8 a piece when they came out, and I just did not like it. So I'm really curious to see how Dark Knight 3 turned out. And then there's, like I said, everyone was getting the, hey, what's up, Biggies? Like I said, I got your auction haul the other day, so thank you for that, sir. That was awesome. Those Captain Marvel books showed up safe. But here is a Capullo variant for Dark Knight 3. Like I said, I feel like everyone just bought the variants to issue 1 and that stuff. And no one really talked about the book itself. So I'm really curious to see how it turned out. Once again, there's the #2 variant from Greg Capullo. Sean Gordon Murphy did a variant. That's good. Yeah, they definitely did show up in good condition. So thank you once again, Big E's Comics. Batman 402. And I guess I could talk about why I like Batman, so... Oh, hey, what's up, Bueller? Glad you enjoyed the contest video, man. If you guys haven't checked out Bueller's channel, absolutely, I love the Comics and Coffee segment he does. And one day I'm going to have to send some books for his buddy Jeff, who hates comics, to read. I strongly suggest that he reads Transmetropolitan, because that seems like that guy's personality to me. So absolutely check that video out. He has some great stuff on his channel. But Batman, I mean, if you guys were raised in the early 90s, late 80s, what have you, that movie in '89 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, like, I mean, it hit like a hurricane into theaters. So I think that was my first memory of actually going to a movie theater, was seeing the 1989 Batman. I cannot think of a movie I saw earlier than that. And then, of course, the hype after that for Batman Returns. Like, that 3 years in between those two movies felt like an eternity to me as a child. So, And then just like I remember watching the preview on like Entertainment Tonight before, obviously before the internet, YouTube, everything. You actually had to watch Entertainment Tonight to figure out like, oh, there's gonna be like a 90-second clip of this movie, so you can see what Catwoman finally looks like. You can see the insane makeup that you know, Danny DeVito has the Penguin. And, I mean, it was just so awesome to track all that as a kid. Here's one of my favorite covers I got to stop and say. Batman Robin 234. Just got this not too long ago. Hey, what's up, Fish Tropic? Absolutely awesome Neil Adams cover. I bought basically a whole lot just to get this one book. Not the greatest condition, but I think it still presents well enough. Very happy to have that one. So there is that. Now, let me see. Here's the true test if this is going to succeed or not. Besides the horrible mirroring, which once again I apologize for. I don't know why my phone has decided to do that. But can I put these books back in and grab another handful without a complete disaster here? And then get my bookmark. See, I want to do this video, but I don't want to resort everything. Alright, so far so good. Next up, Batman 233. But I guess, you know, ongoing history of me and Batman. I love Batman. I love Batman Returns. And even as a kid, I love Batman Forever. And I did just show this in my last, the Comics with Bueller contest video. So if you guys want to see my story on this, check that out. But yeah, awesome Neil Adams, first Ra's al Ghul. Awesome. But then Batman and Robin came out and killed the franchise for 7 years. So yeah, that was the first time I saw a movie and was super disappointed in something, was Batman and Robin. I just remember, like, I even watched a QVC special on items that were being sold as part of the Batman and Robin hype, because that thing was everywhere. I think you had like Taco Bell mugs or something. They probably either a McDonald's toy. Like, I mean, it was like one of the biggest franchise movies ever at the time. And God, I was just so disappointed in that movie. Still am today. And a lot of these I've gotten recently, the older Batmans. So I'll be honest, I haven't read tons of the older Batmans. But I've just been I just had a lot of good luck in the last year getting older Batmans for like $3, $5, maybe maximum like $10 for a lot of these. And like a lot of them are reader condition, obviously. They're not the greatest. But that doesn't matter to me. I just like getting them for cheap, flipping through them, and having a good time, basically. And I got some few Brave and the Bolds in here. And actually, I think I found this one with my Batman 232 for $3. I was just like, well, it's another Neil Adams cover, so why the heck not get that? All right. Oh, yeah, the Go-Go checks. Metarog had a video on those, too. Yeah, every time I see those Go-Go check covers for cheap, Metarog, I definitely end up picking them up. All right. So far, so good with the system. Batman 264, Batman 443. Then actually I got this for free. I was shopping this like maybe a decade ago. A vendor was just like selling this for 50 cents. Actually, it's probably been longer than that because I think it was before Dark Knight and Batman Begins came out. But I was just like, hey, I want this for 50 cents. And I only had like a $10 bill. He's like, dude, just take it. So kind of a funny story how I got the Bane issue for free. Did not get this for free, unfortunately, but this Batman 608. This is actually one I got within the last 8 months, I think. When I started collecting comics again, the Jeff Loeb Jim Lee run was definitely high on my list of items to get. So it took me a while, but I finally found a semi-affordable copy of this. For a while, this is like a $40 book, $50 book maybe. Obviously, I think it's a second print variant cover, goes for a heck of a lot more. I'd love to get that sometime, but I'm not going to pay a lot of money for it. But I'm glad I finally have a 608 in my collection. Hopefully one day, I was going to try to get the signed at C2E2 by Jim Lee, but obviously he is a busy man. So 610, and like I said, I love this Jim Lee run. It's one of my main reasons I got back into comics in the early 2000s. And I believe it was summer of 2003 they started this whole thing. And I mean, the covers speak for themselves, but it's the now kind of rare case where the books inside have just as good art as the cover. So, and then I just have a freebie that it came with eventually, or maybe this is a $1 book. I think I got it for free. And then I have a bunch of these 619s. I think there was like a Heroes cover and then a Villains cover, and then the gatefold, and you know how Jim Lee books go. I got a Batman 655, which I might eventually sell this one because I do have the, well, I was going to take those 2 boxes down up there, but I forgot. I actually have the variant, the J.G. Jones variant, oh, I'm sorry, it's an Adam Kubert variant cover to Batman 655 on my wall, signed by both Kubert brothers, but I got a 655 signed by Andy I might eventually decide to do something with, but not right now. So that was the first Damian, and I got that pretty much most of the Grant Morrison run. I pretty much hopped on issue 655. It's a solid read. I really like Batman. I like Grant Morrison, obviously, but I thought this run was a little bit overrated. Don't shoot me, please, but I don't know why. I just was not a huge fan. But I just kept collecting them because they're in my pull list, and I guess I'm kind of glad I did. At least there were some really good artists on this run. I do want to read it again just to see if I'm crazy or not. Well, I didn't realize I had this many signed copies of this Batman run by Andy Kubert. Here's a Batman 666. Let's see, 670. Like I said, I think I kind of stopped after that one for a minute, and then I just picked up this one because it was a variant cover. It's a Tony Daniel variant, probably a 1 in 10. And then there's 677. Like I said, I start to skip around on that quite a bit. DC Universe Zero is in there for some reason, behind Batman 675. And as you can see, Tony Daniel kind of just eventually took over the book pre-New 52 from Grant Morrison. So this one's actually signed by Tony Daniel. And then actually, for some reason, I got a 676 variant signed by Tony Daniel too. Awesome. I love discovering things I didn't know I had, and then they're signed. So it's always fun. Another 676 signed by Tony Daniel. Awesome Alex Ross art. And I think at this point, I was like, I'm back in just for the Alex Ross covers because, man, some of these covers are absolutely gorgeous. I actually gave away the Catwoman one as part of my 100 subscriber contest. So if I see that again in a dollar bin, I'll definitely be checking that out for sure. Actually, I'm going to take a second to check the chat here because you guys are blowing it up. Yep, Fish Topic says, Batman does rule. Doomsday Comics is in the house. How's it going, Doomsday Comics? Metarog, he's still here, it looks like. Fish Trop, you want to start drawing again? Yeah, absolutely. Show some drawings, man. That'd be cool. Tat, I know you do some drawings sometimes, so thumbs up to you, sir. And, all right, looks like I'm about caught up in the chat, so I'll keep going because I'm not even through box 1 yet. So here's Batman 680 once again. Sorry for the lighting on that. Another awesome Alex Ross cover, 681. Do like that one quite a bit, actually. That might be one of the better ones in the run. 682. Not entirely sure what they're thinking about the color scheme there, but I guess Alex Ross does his best to make that work. And then maybe this one's the best one. 683. That's a pretty sweet cover right there. Nice, looks like almost In the Rain cover and that type of stuff. Going into Final Crisis before everything in DC went off the rails for a little bit. Batman 684. And like I said, this does skip around a little bit because usually, like if I bought it right at the same time, Detective and Batman were kind of on top of each other. I just leave them together. So here is the Neil Gaiman like 2-part run, Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader. Actually, this is one of the few variants I splurged back in the day on. I think this is a 1 in 25 sketch cover. Got signed by Andy Kubert. And then this one as well, signed by Andy Kubert. So absolutely love me some Neil Gaiman. So back in the day, I definitely had to get that sketch cover. Luckily, I think back in the day, I'm probably thinking I paid a ton for it when I in reality paid like $7 or something. And then Batman 700 is the last in that little stack. Also signed by Tony Daniel. So, like I said, love those mid-2000s Batmans for the most part. Slightly overrated, I think, but at least a lot of them had good covers in that stuff. And they introduced us to Damon Wayne, so who doesn't love that? Oh, a finger slip. I'm just going to put the blocker here and take out the rest. All right, nothing damaged yet, so we're on a roll. Looks like Batman 608 first appearance of Anarchy needs to be rebagged. Oof, really needs to be rebagged. Got this in a lot recently, Batman number 600. That's on my need to read list right there just to see what that's all about. And then we start to go back into the older stuff again. Got Detective Comics 460. So once I think that came in that same lot is Detective 600. Got some awesome 15-cent Batman Detective Comics number 396. 392, Nice. Anytime I see these older covers, I make sure they're picked up, especially if they're $10 and under. Um, Unless they're like falling apart, which I do have one or two where the cover's falling off, unfortunately. But like I said, I'll take them any day of the week if they're cheap enough. 368. Oh, here's one of my favorite covers. I think I highlighted this one in a previous video. It's like, last will and testament Batman, and my ward Dick Grayson, known also as Robin, the boy wonder, I leave a round sum of $10.66. Bruce Wayne, alias Batman. So this cover always cracked me up, so I'm glad to have that. And there's some sort of cockamamie scheme slash reason he's writing that to give a message to Robin. It's like a secret message or something they deduct. It's been a minute since I read that one, but it is actually a pretty funny story. Nice bright pink cover for 364 Detective Comics. This one is 356. I always like this one because I had Weather Wizard and the Flash on it. Number 353. 348. Nope. Oh boy. And then we jump to Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder All-Star, or otherwise known as Asbar. So, what do you guys think about All-Star Batman and Robin? I think at the time I was expecting All-Star Superman, but obviously it's the exact opposite of All-Star Superman. So, I just could not get into this book. It's a pretty book. At least Jim Lee draws it, but my goodness, not a fan. I'm sorry. I know there are fans of the sarcastic comedy Batman. If you guys, I don't know if all of you followed Linkara from the Channel Awesome site back in the day, but he did do some hilarious reviews of this All-Star, or I'm just going to keep calling it Asbar. So next up, actually cool, I got this signed by Jim Starlin. It's a trade for Batman Death in the Family. This is the first trade technically I think I've ever bought, just because I didn't know how Jason Todd died as a kid, and I bought this, then did all the research about how people were voting on, you know, killing him off, and now people are asking for their quarter refund. Batman the Signal #1. This one's one of my newer Batman books I've got. I haven't read this one yet, but I need to. It's a Kurt Busiek book, so Batman Creature of the Night. If you guys have read this, let me know what you think about it, and if it's worth a revisit. Yeah, actually, I am sitting around. I'm just responding to Fish Tribe. So he's like, "Are you sitting in an armored big out Batcave for comics?" I am literally surrounded by comics right now, because as you guys notice, like up here, there's usually 3 boxes up there. Those were my Batman boxes right there. So I'd take them all down, set them over here, or in Earth 1 for you guys, probably over here. And yeah, I have comics here, I have comics up here, and I have comics here. So there you go. Hey, what's up? Reviews from the Batcave. How's it going? Pocket Universe Comics. Hey, how's it going, man? Here's actually a run that was pretty nice and I wanted to talk about. Batman Night of Vengeance. This was a Flashpoint crossover. I think I saw this in someone else's video today. I think Alfred 83 Comics found a copy of this whole run. So Flashpoint I'm not a huge fan of, but this run was probably for me better than Flashpoint. It was actually worth the crossover. So this is from the entire 100 Bullets creative team of Brian Azzarello, Eduardo Rizzo, and Dave Johnson, and they just knock it out of the park with this. If you guys don't know the story of it, basically in Crime Alley, where Batman's parents get killed, Batman, Bruce Wayne, is the one who gets killed instead of Thomas and Martha Wayne. And the Batman featured in this book is Thomas Wayne, and he is just cold as ice in this book. He uses guns. He is definitely less nice than Batman. Hey, what's up, Prowler? How you doing? So it's a lot grittier than your normal Batman tale. And just who turns out to be the jokester is kind of a twist too. I don't really know if I want to spoil that. It might be common knowledge, I'm not sure. But it's a pretty short trade. It's 4 issues. This is on my recommendation list if you guys are looking for Batman stuff to recommend. Absolutely check it out. Worth the Flashpoint whole thing happening. Like I said, the whole Flashpoint thing to me was just like, yeah, I understand why they're doing it, but I feel like they were just releasing it to correct some things, instead of actually put out a good story, even though it was written by Jeff Johns. Usually he's one of my go-to writers, but man, it just felt like, let's just get through this so we can restart the new 52 to me. So that's all I'm going to talk about Flashpoint. Then Battle for the Cowl, that was the Tony Daniel thing where Bruce Wayne was gone, and they're trying to crown a new Batman. So there's that. Then I got Batman Adventures #1. This is my only Batman Adventures. Obviously, I wish I had about 11 more after this, maybe a number 12, but I don't. I do have this one signed by Ty Templeton, though, who did an awesome sketch for me in the past. And then I got the Batman Annual. Awesome Jock cover on that. I always forget to get this signed by Jock when I see him, because I've seen him twice. Actually, I think 3 times now, and I always forget to bring this book with me since he did that awesome cover. But another goofy tale of... I sound super negative tonight, don't I? I'm sorry. Goofy tale of how Jason Todd came back in the midst of Infinite Crisis, about wall punching and him just coming back in a Lazarus pit because Superboy Prime punched a wall. But yeah, there's the Annual. So that was the first short box. So I guess that whole short box tag of what's in your short box, I'm going to triple that tag here tonight. So there is box 1. Let's see what's in box number 2. Oh, right. So box number 2, I've got from the new 52 Detective Comics number 13. Got signed by John Layman and Jason Fabok. This is, I don't know if this is like one of the very first Jason Fabok Batman books there was. He might have started on earlier, and I'm not sure, but obviously he's going to end up being one of DC's biggest artists if he's not considered that already. But yeah, I really did enjoy this run. And then there's number 15 from Death of the Family with awesome 90s-ified die-cast cover where he folded out and it's Batman. And for some reason on this one, I got the Mad Magazine variant, also signed by Fabok and Layman. It's got a Man-Bat, except it's the guy from Mad Magazine. And then I eventually want to collect all this run too, because I'm a huge Francis Manapul fan. But Francis Manapul worked on Detective Comics after John Layman exited the book, so definitely want to check that out. And I got some nice, awesome 3D covers, so there we go. Somewhere else, I don't know, hopefully I got them in here. I've got all the Snyder Batman run 3D covers, even though I think he only wrote one of them. Here is the Mega Size Detective Comics 27. So I got that signed by Fabok as well. I'd like to get this signed by more creators. And then I need more of this run too. It's the Black Mirror run, the first Scott Snyder on Detective Comics. Unfortunately, I'm missing the big 2 books from this run, 871 and 880, but I think I've pretty much filled up most of the gaps in between. I think I got a couple more, like I'm noticing probably 878's not in here. But I have 2 877s. Like I said, I got some stuff signed by Jock. That one's signed, and I got this one signed by Jock as well. I also have the hardcover signed by Snyder and Jock too. So at least I got the story. But yeah, I definitely need to fill some holes in that run, because that's on top of my list of wanted books. So Detective 857, awesome Greg Rucka run. If you guys haven't read this one either. Basically, if you guys ever want to get into Batwoman, you can start with the 52, see what she does there, but the Detective Comics run that Greg Rucka started with her is one of my top favorite DC books, so another one to check out there. 847. Why don't I have this in a bag? Shame on me. 832. Luckily, it's in a pretty good condition for not being in a bag. I'll correct that later. Slightly underrated run, I think, here. Paul Dini had a Detective Comics run, I think, in 2007. There's some good stuff and some great art here. Simone Bianchi on the covers. Not a lot of people talking about these too much, but they have some good art inside and some great covers. I'm looking for, there's one really good story. I'll point it out if I see it here. There's 829. Robin screwed on that cover. There's 830. I said I need to do a little bit better job sorting these out. Just because sometimes I pull them out, I read them, and then they don't get put back in the exact bag or specific spot they should. 827. Oh, here's the good story I did want to talk about. Actually, I have a bag separately. 826. And this story, basically, Joker's on a tear on Christmas Eve, and the only person available to stop him is Tim Drake. So it's a nice little tale of Tim Drake versus the Joker on Christmas. And as you can see, it's not going too well for Tim. He's got a gun to his head. He's in the, I think, yeah, he's in the passenger seat with the Joker driving. It's probably not a good scenario to be in. So this is actually a pretty comical book. Uh, Don Kramer, I think is his name, does the art on this. Pretty good artist. Hopefully, I don't know what happened to him. He used to do some pretty good art. Haven't seen or heard from him in a while. Hopefully he makes a comeback sometime because he's a pretty good artist on these detective books. Then there's 825, and like I said, they got a really good run of covers in detective. I think this is post 1 year later in Infinite Crisis if you guys were looking to get into this run. Here's an awesome Poison Ivy cover. I got this signed by Joe Benitez as well. But that is a great cover. And actually, I think we're winding down this run because here's 821. And J.H. Williams did the art on the original part of these two, which, oh my god, his art is awesome. He did that, the Batwoman run I was talking about earlier. So, can't talk good enough about that. Then there's 819, 817, and oh my god. Sometimes I get mad at my young stuff. Like, look what I've done here. Like, I was like, where's 818? Oh, it's in here. So, cool Two-Face cover buried behind. This is why I can't find books sometimes, because I was trying to save on bags and boards, but absolutely cool Two-Face book. Man, what was I thinking? But I'm going to put it back in and correct it later, and then I'll forget about it. So, all right. Like I said, I apologize for the transferring process here. Ooh. No bins, thank goodness. Alright, so we got printing number something, 2 or 3 of, I think this is third printing, Batman 24, the proposal issue. Like I said, I was talking to somebody earlier. If the Tom King run is really good, let me know. Because everyone's like, great covers, decent art, but is the story good? If it is, I want to check it out. But I've kind of heard lukewarm things about it. I heard the I Am Bane storyline is pretty good, so I want to check that out. But I heard his Mr. Miracle Run stuff is much better, so I'm definitely going to get that. So if you guys recommend that, let me know. There's Batman number 2, the Cell variant. So I like some Tim Cell art, so when I see those variants, I do try to get those. Annual number 1, which I think I got this in a dollar bin. Speaking of dollar bin, found a Batman and the Outsiders 21. Got a Yannick Paquette signed Batman Incorporated number 1. And I was, kind of dogging Grant Morrison earlier. I think his Batman Incorporated stuff was pretty solid, actually, especially the stuff with Batman and Damian. I mean, the chemistry that Damian has with Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne is just awesome. So definitely do like that. I don't want to say Grant Morrison sucks. He does not suck. So I got this signed by Chris Burnham. I think he signed a lot of this run actually for me. But the new 52 Batman Incorporated run is pretty legit. I do like this run too. There's number 6. I guess I do have a lot of these signed by Chris Burnham. So yeah, 7. And then here is the death of Robin in number 8. Not sure why they decide to do that, but with Grant Morrison, sometimes he just does what he wants, and then the companies do what they want later. Kind of like what happened with him in New X-Men. Like he kind of tried to create this whole new universe of X-Men characters, and where most of those characters now, like who knows? They've gotten rid of most of them at this point, like Beak and that new version of Angel. So I feel like Morrison just introduces characters a lot, and then they kind of just phase out, unfortunately. But yeah, this Incorporated run, I think this is technically Volume 2 of Batman Incorporated. It's pretty solid. I do like that read. Speaking of good reads, though, and I actually was going to show, I think they're over here. Yeah, I got those right there. Very good recent read lately. And I know I kind of I'm trying to phase out DC and Marvel right now just because I'm not digging a lot of the storylines. But one of the storylines that's been pretty good lately is the James Tynion Detective Comics run. I've really enjoyed this run, actually. So if you guys see, there should be some hardcovers like DC Deluxe editions coming out of this. I recommend them just because it's the first time in a while they've had like a big Bat Family book with a lot of these characters in it. So I do really like this run. I think I have almost the entire run. So there's 934. Wow. I don't know why I skipped to 948, but there we go. 953. Got that signed by James Tynan. 965. 966. I always get the Raphael Albuquerque covers because I do really like his art from like American Vampire and stuff. So I'm glad they got a good B cover artist, if you will, I guess. Even though the A covers are pretty good too. But I think Raphael Albuquerque does most of the B covers. I think he took a little bit of a break. Looks like in the late 960s. Either that or just grabbed the wrong covers. But yeah, he's back at 970. So... So the whole premise of this is, I think I cut this run out for a minute when they killed off Tim Drake. I didn't really like that too much, but I knew, knowing James Tynan, he is a huge fan of Tim Drake like I am. So I knew there was going to be a plan for Tim in this whole run, and there was. So absolutely love this run. One of the better modern runs of Batman in my opinion. So 975, and hopefully is 976 behind me. Looks like it. Oh, it's probably in here still. But anyway, I got 6 more of these to read. This is my reading list for tonight, basically, is the rest of this run. So there's 978. I'm just going to set them off to the side so I don't forget to read them after I get done recording here. 977. 976. Sweet, I did find 976. Awesome. They're just out of order. So actually I do like these. Like I said, I love these covers he's did. And as you can tell, the Bat family isn't faring too well toward the end of this run. There's a reason why this run ends, I guess, but I'm curious to see what the last 6 issues for me hold, just because there was a lot of animosity between Batwoman and Tim Drake. And then here, I believe this is the last issue, 981, where DC started to go toward the more virgin cover format. So definitely awesome. And one nitpick I always had about these, like the new virgin covers that DC's doing, it's like they didn't give a memo to the B cover artist about it. And a lot of them, they leave a lot of space up top where the trade dress is supposed to be. But I guess Raphael Albuquerque got the memo because he definitely filled up most of that cover there. So, like I said, I'm sorry I'm so negative tonight. Nice, Comic Boys. You're going to read Exo Manowar. One day I'm going to read some Valiant. Especially since you like it so much. I keep seeing you talk about it in chats and on your channel. One day I will read some Valiant. So here's the Tony Daniel run of Detective Comics. So this is post New 52, where basically Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel got swapped on their titles. So issue 1 I've got up there somewhere, probably behind that box. Hey, what's up, Chad? How's it going, man? Here's number 3, and then number 4, all signed by Tony Daniel. So I said I'll try to speed this up a little bit because it's starting to get a little warm in here. It's the one drawback to being in this room in summer. It's an upstairs room, so it doesn't like the heat outside. Yeah, Comic Boys, like at my half-price books, there's a 50-cent bin, and that thing is just packed with early Valiant. But I think all the key issues have been picked through, that if they were there. So maybe one day, if they ever have one of those $20 tote bag sales again, I'm just probably going to grab the whole handful and just drop it in so I can get them for like basically 15 cents a piece. Because I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to pay 50 cents. I want to pay 15 cents. So here's a smattering of my Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run. I probably think this is my favorite Batman run. It was just, for me, I just like the longer runs of comics and consistency in my books. So I have the entire Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run. I think I'm missing one annual from the whole thing. It's like annual number 4 or something like that. I think that's how long it ran for. But this is one of the few runs, probably in the last few years, I gotta have every issue in individual format. I'm actually hoping they do the Absolute Editions. They've released one Absolute Edition for the Court of Owls, which basically covered the first 10. And I actually asked Scott Snyder at a convention when I got my Absolute Edition signed if they were planning to do anything, like have all of the Absolute Editions. And I think he was very hopeful that DC was going to do that. So that would be absolutely awesome. I usually don't get books twice, but I do like collecting those Absolute Editions if I really do like the story. Like I said, there's 51, and I think this was the last issue of 52, which some people might not count because it just has the Capullo cover. So Snyder and Capullo didn't do any of the interior work. It was all James Tynan. Then there's Batman 0. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not going to show 1 through 5, it's pretty much, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the awesome, probably best book in the New 52, Batman Annual #1, that Mr. Free story. Absolutely love it. Actually, I do have, maybe it's Annual 3 I'm missing, but there's Annual 4 with another awesome Sean Gordon Murphy cover. So if you guys are looking for Sean Gordon Murphy stuff, Batman related, besides White Knight, he did do this cover. So pretty sweet right there. Then, like I said, I was talking about Batman Rebirth earlier. I got Tom King signed #1. And then I have the variant signed by Tom King #1. It's C2E2. And I found this in a dollar bin not too long ago. Got another copy of #1 since I didn't have that cover. Or, I'm sorry, the other one was Rebirth #1. Sorry. Like I said, comics nowadays can be a little bit confusing. Futures End, we don't talk about Futures End today. Like I said in my last video, though, I think this is my favorite Batman Jock cover. I know everyone loves the Joker cover, but for me, oh, I need a big poster of this. This is one of my favorite covers I've seen in a long time. All-Star Batman, which I do need to get a hardcover of All-Star Batman. Waiting for a collected edition of all of them. I don't really want to get 3 hardcovers because I know once I do, they'll announce a better version. It's always like DVD and Blu-ray with those hardcovers. Once you buy one, they'll put out a better version. Kind of like Runaways right now. I have the 3 hardcovers, and I just found out today, I think this week, they released an omnibus edition of that. So I'm like, yay! Batman Death and the Maidens, Greg Rucka did this one too. I've read a little bit of it. It's not too bad. Basically, they use this to, I believe, it's a nice Ra's al Ghul story. So if you guys are wanting more Greg Rucka Batman, there's that. Batman Spawn, because in the 90s, why not? Everyone was crossing over in the 90s, and Batman and Spawn was just a natural thing that was going to happen. Batman Black and White, I think I won this off Manny NYC in one of the New York Warriors auctions. I don't even remember where I got this. Batman, where it's like cover swipe. I might have got it in the same auction. Oh, nice! I didn't know that. Batman #1, Todd McFarlane cover swipe. I don't remember owning this, but I think I must have got it in that. Maybe I got it in that Manny auction where I won that. That's pretty cool. Didn't know I had that one. Awesome. And then a 2D version of the Button. This is probably one of the few Tom King Batman books I've read besides those first couple of issues I've shown. Just because it was a Doomsday Clock prequel, basically. So, wasn't too bad of a story. I'm very curious to see what the end game is for Doomsday Clock, as I'm sure everybody else is too. So, let me know what you guys think about Doomsday Clock. I've read 4 issues, I think, of it. I'm waiting for my last Midtown shipment for issue 5. I just don't know about it yet. I really don't. Obviously, Gary Frank's killing it on the art. But I just don't know. I didn't really like issue 3 that much. So we'll see where they go. And then here's those lenticular covers I was talking about. So there's the Riddler one. This is probably, in terms of story, the best of the lenticular Villains Month cover, whatever you want to call it. This is actually a Scott Snyder written story, and it's a prequel to 0 Year, basically. So if you guys were collecting these by the individual issue, this is one you definitely want to check out. But everyone loses their crap over this cover. This is the Jason Fabok Joker cover. This was the first 23.1. This is pretty much like the first main one. Hey, what's up, Jeremy Edwards? This is the one that everybody wanted when it came out. Obviously, it's ice cold now compared to what it was when it came out, but still a solid read. But I think the only one Scott Snyder did, I'm probably wrong about that, but I think the only Scott Snyder one from that run was this. But definitely, this was my favorite of the Villains Month stuff. So back to the actual run. Speaking of 0 Year, there's Batman 24, 25, and wow, they really got 90s to fight around this point. He had solid black embossed covers, like fold-out covers, 3D covers. So DC was just kind of throwing everything at the wall around this point. There's number 27, and then 28. So I think this was kind of like a break in between storylines right there. Got a C2E2 variant for 29, signed by Scott Snyder. And then there is the regular edition of 29. So I think they did these for C2E2, and maybe WonderCon 2 has like a green variant. At number 30, signed by Scott Snyder as well. And then 31. Batman number 32. And then the Brian Hitch variant for 33, 34. And then, nope, that's the regular 35. I don't know, they had a ton of variants for that one. Like this is the Loot Crate exclusive one, which Greg Capullo actually did. Then there's Batman Day, which is the same issue as what I just showed. So there's that. Oh yeah, I've met Scott Snyder like 4, maybe 5 times at this point. Like I said, all 5 of those, the Batman 1 through 5s up there, they're all signed by Snyder and Capullo. 37. And like I said, nowadays trying to meet that guy, whew, he's super nice and all, but man, he gets a bigger line every time I see him. Like I met him at Cincinnati Comic Expo, my last meeting with Snyder and Capullo, and it was a pretty easygoing convention. Like you could pretty much, like for instance, Adam Hughes is there. I walked right up to Adam Hughes, got a sketch from him, talked to him, that stuff. He didn't have hardly any demand at all. Snyder and Capullo, it probably took 2 hours at that type of convention to meet those guys. Like if they went to say like a C2E2, I don't even know if it would be possible to meet them again within like 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, those guys, they've definitely earned everything they get though. There's annual number 2, which that was a 0-year crossover, so Batman 23. Another Snyder signature on 21, so I at least try to get these 0-year. They was like broken up into 3 parts, I believe. So I at least try to get the beginning of parts 1, 2, and 3 signed by Snyder. So I think I got all of those signed. There's number 22. 19, and this one's like the fold-out cover, or I think Bruce Wayne shooting Batman, like, ooh. Number 20. So that kind of reminds me of that Dark Knight 3 variant cover he did. Just mud fighting Batman. 17. 18. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these pretty fast because I still got a bunch to go. Another C2E2 variant for 17. Got that nice, you know, side red part. I think, once again, WonderCon version maybe had a green one. And I think there's a blue one, too, from another convention. I can't remember. Actually, I didn't get that one signed. Thought I did. I got James Tynion to sign my issue 15 because he did the backup story in it. And 16 as well. 15 signed by Tynion. Here is issue 13. It is a variant. It's the newsstand variant. It doesn't have the die-cast Joker on there. It's just a picture of Batman. I don't know if they did this for every one of the, like Batgirl, Nightwing, Teen Titans, I think, had a die-cast cover of this. I think there's a couple more. Like Detective probably has one, but at least I found the Batman one. Just the main one I wanted. And like I said, I got that signed by Tynion. Here is the regular version of that cover. Then we get into the really good storyline, the first 12 issues. So there's 11. Number 12, I think this is like what, the first appearance of Harper Row, I think, if I remember correctly. And that's got some Becky Cloonan art inside there. Number 9. Number 10. Like I said, I apologize for showing these out of order. 7, I guess we'll just count it down, sort of. And there's 8. Number 6. And I might do something with this book eventually because I do have a first printing of number 1, but here's a third print of number 1 I just got handed to me at a convention. So I don't know if this is even worth anything, but I might eventually just give it away in a contest eventually. So we'll see about that. But I do have 2 copies of issue 1, one being a third print. All right, we're close to the last box. Well, I'm surprised there's still got a few viewers out there, so thank you guys for sticking with Earth 2 Parallel Dimension here. I apologize for that once again. Sorry, this box had to be on the floor. So here is the Batman and Robin run post New 52. So Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason did the work on this book, which is actually a pretty good run too. So if someone out there is looking for a good New 52 read that's still semi-current, I do like the Batman and Robin run those two did together. It was very good. And what book did they do before? Oh yeah, they did Green Lantern Corps together too. So they had some pretty good chemistry coming from that. Then there's the issue 0. Joker's daughter. And I think I got this Arkham City came inside the limited edition for Gotham, or Arkham City, I think. Maybe it came with Arkham Knight. Somehow I got this in a really weird way. But anyway, there's that. I got a C2E2 variant for Batman Eternal. This one's signed by Scott Snyder, James Tynion, and Jason Fabok, which doesn't show up too well because it's a black and white sketch cover, but I have 3 signatures so far on this. I thought I got Layman's too, but I guess I forgot to get him to sign that. Whoops. Oh well, 3 signatures is good enough for me. I got the first issue signed by Fabok as well as the second one as well, the regular copies. Batman Beyond #1. Great series, great character. And then here's my DC Metal run. So I got the Forge #1. Actually got that signed by Scott Snyder as well. Yeah, Fabok is awesome, isn't he, Rich? The Casting #1. I remember being so hyped for Metal reading these. Here's the convention exclusive cover for Metal. They're giving this away for free at the DC booth at C2E2. So I ended up getting a bunch of these and putting them in my contests previously. But pretty cool cover there. Here's Dark Knight Metal #1, signed by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. And for some reason, I've always just really loved Greg Capullo's autograph. I should have just took those down and said screw it. But like, there's a bloody variant I showed on my my room tour where it's just like a spatter of blood, and then Capullo used a red marker and just did like his signature. It looked really awesome. Got a #2 signed by Capullo and Snyder. They signed the silver inside the silver, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then those were like the main 2 that were out when I met them previously. So the rest, unfortunately, I don't have signed, but maybe one day. So there's that. Issue 4. Most of you guys know what these covers look like because we've just been buying them at our local shops and that stuff. So I'm curious to see what you guys thought about Metal. I thought it was all right toward the end of it. Like I said, sometimes it's just one of those instances like, let's just let Snyder and Capullo do whatever they want because we love those 2 guys on the main Batman run. And I think that's what they did. For me, what stole the show for Metal, though, were the spin-offs. Like, just seeing, like, the evil versions of Bruce Wayne. It probably won't take you long to catch up, Rich, in terms of signatures. I'm sure you'll get all your Batman books signed. But the spin-offs for Metal were absolutely amazing. I thought they were almost better to me than the actual Metal series. So the Red Death, this one was pretty good, I thought. The Murder Machine was pretty interesting just because the whole developments of Cyborg and Alfred in that, and just a weird, crazy death machine. So I felt like Snyder had a lot to do with this, and just a crazy, insane dream he had. So like, let's just put it on paper, and that's what they did. Probably one of the few I didn't like near as much was the Drowned. Just didn't do much for me. I thought the girl Bruce Wayne was a bit much for being an Aquaman. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking crazy. Then there's the Devastator, which is kind of like his counter to Superman. I thought this one was pretty cool. The Merciless. And then the Big Money book, The Batman Who Laughs. So everyone loves this one. I actually bought 2 copies of this one. I just gave it to my brother as a present. So absolutely, that's probably the top cover of all of these. So who doesn't love The Batman Who Laughs right now? Batman Lost. This was basically like a bridge, I think, between either 6 or 7 and 7 of 8 of Metal. So this may as well be, yeah, an awesome present. It sure was. This may as well be an issue of Metal, in my opinion. Hawkman Found, same thing. They probably should have just lumped that together. But Jeff Lemire did some work on this, so that's a pretty solid read. And then Rising the Wild Hunt. So I think I'm only missing the Green Lantern one, of all things, because I love Green Lantern too. Don't know how I missed that one, but unfortunately I did. So that's one of the few current books I'm on the lookout for, but I'm not going to pay more than like $5 for it because it's, you know, a current book. So let's see what else. I'm almost done, I promise. Ooh, I do want to take out that Jock cover though. I did have, this is one of the few books I did buy for the cover. Awesome Jock cover on Batman Superman 21. Obviously it's got Joker in the middle there, so pretty sweet cover right there. Love to have a print of that sometime. I think I got this one for free too. Batman Doc Savage. It's got some cool Phil Noto work in it at least, so definitely a cool thing to flip through there. Here's a run I thought was really good. Once again, I want to redeem myself a little bit for talking bad about Grant Morrison earlier. The Batman and Robin Grant Morrison book is probably my favorite Batman Morrison book. Morrison can get a little confusing sometimes in his work. This book was just mainly for me about, you know, the chemistry between Damian Robin and Dick Grayson Batman. Those two, I wish we could somehow get that in a book again. Like I would take a Nightwing and Robin book right now if they had it, written by Grant Morrison or even James Tynion or one of those great Batman writers we got. But I got issue 1, the J.G. Jones variant, I think right there. So that one's signed by J.G. Jones right there. Didn't take it down because I didn't want to unmount it. But I do have I think I have this whole run too. But this is one of my top favorite runs. Probably the best book of that whole Batman Reborn storyline post the death of Bruce Wayne. But yeah, this run for me, highly, highly recommended. I know I keep saying that, but hey, I wouldn't recommend the books and then keep them, obviously. So there's number 3, number 4, and then Frank Quietly too did some awesome work on this run. So if you guys know him from All-Star Superman, he definitely did some great work on Batman and Robin too. So this is kind of like a good little bit of a post read after All-Star Superman, read Batman and Robin. And, those guys just work so well together. And then also Cameron Stewart, this is my first exposure to Cameron Stewart's artwork. He does some good stuff as a fill-in artist for Frank Quietly. So he does like 3 or 4 issues in a row. So there's issue 10, then 11, and then 12. Which, yeah, like I said, I think Grant Morrison, I'm trying to think of his last issue. I guess we'll all see it here in a second. Actually, I do really like that cover, I gotta say. Just Damian getting Robin's revenge on the Joker with a crowbar. I thought that was always pretty cool. Nice Quietly cover on that. And there's 15. And then 16 might be the end of the Morrison run, finally, on this book. Yeah, as you can see, now we have 2 Batmen. Oh, Batman's back. And then Dick Grayson was still Batman. So that kind of leads into the Batman Incorporated, Volume 1, where there's more than one Batman for a little while. But yeah, absolutely awesome run of 16 issues from Grant Morrison. Unfortunately, with the whole New 52 looming and everything, the book kept going for some reason. So like I just always had on my pull list. So here's 17 and then 18. I think, yeah, these were Paul Cornell written issues, which I'll be honest, these 2 didn't really do too much for me. As far as I was concerned, once Morrison was done, the book probably should have been done too. I did forget though, oh yeah, Tomasi and Gleason did a little bit of a run. So right before the reboot, they let Tomasi and Gleason have the book for a minute. And I think this was kind of just to get them ready. Hey, what's up, Miss Hustle? How's it going? This is just to get them ready for the New 52 run they had. So they did a few issues. I actually do have a Tony Daniel variant signed by Pat Gleason. And then he signed the next one as well. Issue 23, and then somehow the book got handed off to Judd Winnick. 24. Actually, I'm going to have to read 24. I didn't realize Greg Tosini did the art in that, so. He's got some great art on low. He didn't do this cover, but that artist is really good. And then he did 25 and 26, which actually they switched writers again in 26. So as you can see, once a book starts to end, and they know they're going to end it, the creative teams get shuffled like a deck of cards. So unfortunately, this book kind of fell victim to that. But like I said, it got good again at Batman Robin Volume 2, I guess. This is the New 52 run. So like I said, Tomasi and Gleason, they do great work together. Got this signed by both of them, actually. So Tomasi signed it in gold right there, and then Gleason signed it there. They both... Actually, I think Tomasi just signed 3 and 4 for me there. Number 5. And then this, like, toward this run now, yeah, I mean, you're back to Bruce Wayne and Damian. Instead of Dick Grayson. So, like I said, I kind of miss that dynamic that Dick Grayson had with Damian. I hope maybe one day we can get a Nightwing and Robin book. That would be really cool. So there's 11. And then 12. 13 and 14. And like I said, I'm sorry I'm blowing through this. We're almost done, though, I promise you guys. 15 got that awesome die-cast from Death of the Family. 16... 17. Wonder where 18 went. We'll probably find out here in a second. And I got these all signed too. And then there's 20. That's actually a pretty cool red hood cover. And yeah, I think it was around this point. 18's probably in a different bag because I got signed by Chris Burnham. Or I think he did that because it was the death of Damian around that time. So, yay, comics. Always killing off characters and bringing them back. Alright, this is a big handful, so let's see if I can... Man, I haven't destroyed a comic so far doing this. I'm kind of impressed with my... Oh, wait, never mind. Just pulled out Batman Robin #2. That's fine. It'll be fine. All right, we're almost there. Last stack. If you guys have stuck around for 59 minutes, what were you thinking? Thank you guys for being here with me this long. Especially, like I said, Earth 2, Mirror Universe. I'm going to find a way to fix that one day, but unfortunately, not today. So I got this. I still need to read all these. I know I keep saying that a lot, but Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. So this is like the animated style characters. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, Rich. I appreciate it. So there's that, and then I got these cool Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got this signed by Tynan as well. James Tynan comes up to the Midwest quite a bit, so usually becomes a kind. I usually try to stop by his table and say hi to him at least once, get a couple books signed. I'd like to meet Freddie Williams too again. That guy does some awesome work. He did all these covers and the interiors as well. And actually, he's one of the first sketches I ever got. So I love his work on these Batman Turtles books. Definitely made it worth getting this whole mini-series. So it's just interesting to see this whole mini-series and how you incorporate. It's more interesting to me in these how they incorporated the villains together. I mean, you got like Shredder and the Joker and like a whole rogues gallery, and then like Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and Scarecrow and Bane. And it gets pretty nuts. Got a Kevin Eastman variant for part 2 of that run. There's #2. And I still do need to finish off this next run. I think I only have the first 3 issues, and it's a 6-issue run. Got Batman Full Circle signed by Alan Davis and Mark Farmer. Just got this signed at C2E2. Nice little trade that came back, I think, what was this, like 94 or something like that? I could be completely up. I know that book is from the 90s. Got a Batman and Superman. Ooh, who smudged that one that bad? Was that, I think Philip Tan gave me a nice smudge on that. So like I said, Mirror Universe still shows a nice smudge there, and I got it signed by Jay Lee too. I always like this cover though. It's just, you might not like it too much, Rich, because it's just a Bat family getting their butts kicked by Superman's family. But yeah, I always thought that was kind of funny every time I see it. Got Batman, Superman 1, 2. I also got this signed by Jay Lee. Sorry, my hand was covering that up. And then his wife, I believe, is his colorist. So his wife signed these books as well, too. So he signed them in gold there as well. Got 3, 4. Oh, man, I'll cry if you mention Connor Kent. Man, he's my boy. Why won't they bring him back officially? Yeah, you notice Connor Kent was on that one issue. Man, he would have whipped all their butts. League of Collectors #5 variant. So, miss those. Oh, really? Chad, me and Chad have a lot in common, guys. He likes wrestling. He likes Connor Kent. Man. Brothers from other mothers, I suppose. #8. #9. #10. And my God. Oh, wait a minute. #11. #12. So, yeah, Cyborg Superman, man. I love me some 90s Superman stuff. I mean, you're talking Eradicator, Cyborg Superman, Steel, and Superboy. That was my collecting origins, basically. So, I absolutely love those characters. But that, I think, finally concludes my Batman collection. Minus the stuff I showed previously in my collection video. That's everything I got. I think I probably have more buried in boxes in that closet and my parents' house and everything. But I was just like, man, I want to do these Tuesday live streams. I didn't really have a ton to talk about today, so I'm just like, what haven't I shown you? What haven't really took out a short box and shown what was in it? And I was just like, maybe I'll experiment with this. And, well, hopefully someone enjoys this eventually. So, like I said, thank you guys so much for sticking around with me for, oh my God, 63 minutes. I apologize. I can't believe some of you guys have looked at my face for this long. I know I couldn't. But anyway, I guess gently caress that thumbs button, up or down, doesn't matter to me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Catch me Friday, 10 p.m. Reviews from Batcave's channel. I gotta plug him now. He's been here this whole time. So Rich and Chad have an awesome channel where they've started doing a live podcast / live stream, if you will, whatever you want to call it. We're still tentatively naming it. Hopefully we'll have an awesome name planned eventually. But I'm looking forward to this Friday, 10 p.m. I know I'll be there with bells on, so to speak, I guess. Subscribe to their channel. Don't even worry about subscribing to mine. Just go to their channel. I'll link it eventually. Go there, subscribe them up. Have a good time at the live show, 10 p.m. Friday night. So if nothing else, if all these Batman books didn't, show you that you should be liking Batman, go to their channel. They love Batman. So thumbs up to you guys for sure. Thumbs up. Let's just go over the chat one more time. Thumbs up, Miss Hustle. Thank you for showing up. Comic Boys is here still. Dang, Comic Boys. Thanks for showing up and watching all this. Love your channel, of course. Chad and Rich in the house. Prowler stuck around for a long time, so thank you, Prowler, if you actually do come back on the rewind. Jeremy Edwards, he's part of that the family. You'll see at Friday nights, 10 p.m. So if you like Jeremy Edwards, definitely tune in. He's got some great content, great opinions on his channel. Always, as usual, big thanks to Metarog, big thanks to Tat. Those guys have great channels too. Doomsday Comics, he started doing live streams himself. Absolutely awesome YouTuber. He has an awesome man cave, even though I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, man. You can give me a thumbs down for that if you need to. But he does have a cool setup himself of like just sports and memorabilia and that stuff. So absolutely looks like a blast. My first subscriber ever, Fish Tropic, showed up today. So thank you, Fish Tropic. Who else? Oh yeah, the boy who had 7 Talks comic books. He was the first one in the chat. So thank you, sir, for being here. Big E's Comics. They had an awesome live show last Monday. I watched that on the rewind today. Great crew over there. So thank you for tuning in. And I apologize if I missed anybody else. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. One day I'm going to figure out how to YouTube properly here and do so you can see everything correctly. Because I've been looking at my stupid face on the screen this whole time. I'm like, what am I doing here? So thank you guys once again. I really do appreciate the support. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your night.